Labatt presents the World Series on CTV. Sponsored by Honda, the official car of the Toronto Blue Jays for the past 17 years.
A triumphant celebration. The Olympic Winter Games on CTV.
Sean McDonough with Tim McCarver, Pat O'Brien and Jim Gray at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, Game 3 of the World Series. You're looking at Mike Piazza, who just completed a brilliant rookie season with the Los Angeles Dodgers, already named National League Rookie of the Year by Baseball America. And I imagine every organization that hands out a Rookie of the Year award will honor Mike Piazza.
Ben Rivera is the reliever for Danny Jackson. Danny Jackson going 5 innings and giving up 4 runs on 6 hits. Ben Rivera has not pitched in 12 days. The last time he worked was 2 scoreless innings against the Atlanta Braves in the 2nd game of the National League Championship Series 12 days ago. Check that, he gave up 1 run in that game.
A home run to Terry Pendleton. Roberto Alomar looked at ball 1. And a strike. Alomar, Fernandez, and Sprague do against Ben Rivera, 25-year-old right-hander from the Dominican Republic. Pours over a fastball for strike 2. They call him Big Ben. He's 6'6", 230 pounds. Alomar to left, sinking fast. Incaviglia will lay back on it, play it on a hop. No diving catch this time for Inky, who made a spectacular catch on the ball hit by Carter to end the 5th. So Alomar is 2 for 3 tonight. And that'll bring up Tony Fernandez. He's from the same hometown in the Dominican Republic as Ben Rivera, San Pedro de Macorís. And Fernandez had an infield hit his last time up. He's 1 for 2. 7 hits now for Toronto. They're out hitting the Phillies 7-4. Danny Jackson worked 5 innings, allowed 4 runs, all earned on 6 hits, including the Molitor homer. Danny walked 1 and struck out 1. He threw 89 pitches. Alomar runs, the pitch, a ball, the throw. Hit Stalker up around the throat, it appeared. And he's still down on a knee. Stolen base for Alomar. And Stalker appeared to take it in the throat. And he waves off the training staff.
The throat's one thing. The Adam's apple is quite another. Catchers get it often in the muscles of the throat. But when you get it on that Adam's apple, that's when it becomes very, very disturbing. Watch how the ball comes up on Kevin Stalker. Kind of rolls up the body and pops him right in the neck. Boy, it looked like he kept his chin down low enough to where the ball couldn't get cleanly into the middle of the throat.
Might have hit the seam where the turf meets the dirt. Of course, Tony Kubek can attest to what it's like to get hit in the Adam's apple.
1960 series against Pittsburgh.
Bad hop grounder hit by Bill Verdon. So Alomar has a stolen base, and he's in scoring position with nobody out, and count of 1-0 on Fernandez. 2-0 now. Tony started the season with the New York Mets and didn't fare very well. Hit .225 for New York before being traded to the Blue Jays, back to Toronto for the 2nd time, and a deal for Darren Jackson, the outfielder. And Mets manager Dallas Green was quite open in suggesting that Fernandez dogged it during his time with the Mets to force the Mets into a trade. Tony points out that he was bothered by kidney stones back then. It isn't often you hear a manager say something as critical as that, as openly as Green did. Throw to third, safe. And Alomar was thrown out trying to steal third in a crucial situation in game 2. Steals third easily this time.
With the Blue Jays up by 2 runs in game 2 in the 8th inning, and 2 outs. He was on second base against Mitch Williams, and he tried to steal third, but this is just like an infielder who makes an error and wants to get back there on defense again and have a ball hit to him. Undeterred with the left-handed batter up there, and look at the slide to the outside of the bag.
Now Fernandez rips one to right. Eyes in right. Makes a nice leaping catch on the track. And Alomar cruises in from third to make it 5-0 Toronto. Third RBI of the series for Tony Fernandez. We're at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia for Game 3 of the 1993 World Series. Toronto leads 5-0. The Blue Jays jumped out early to a 3-0 lead in the first inning. Ball game delayed at the start, an hour and 12 minutes by rain. And Sprague, a foul ball for strike one. He's 0 for 2 tonight, now 1 for 10 in the series.
Jim Fregosi talking about teams with speed when they play the Phillies. He said teams with speed can push runs across. We have to pull ours across with the base hit. Well, Roberto Alomar just pushed the run across. That is really the definition of manufacturing a run. Single, 2 stolen bases, and a sac fly.
Ben Rivera's 1-2 pitch just outside. 2-2 on Sprague, whose wife Kristen Babb Sprague won a gold medal for the United States at the Summer Olympics in Barcelona last year in solo synchronized swimming. And I had to ask Ed about solo synchronized swimming. Kind of seems to be contradictory, an oxymoron perhaps, but it's being in sync with the music. Of course, that raises the question, how do they hear the music when they're underwater? Waterproof Walkman, perhaps.
Perhaps.
Our track crew informs us they do pump in the water, the sound underneath the water. Sprague strikes out for the second out of the inning. Very light rain falling at the moment, just nuisance factor for those in attendance. And the batter is Pat Borders, 0 for 2. The 2 stolen bases in this inning by Alomar. Ties a World Series record for most stolen bases in one inning. This is the 8th time it's been done. Babe Ruth did it once back in 1921. Good fastball.
1921 was the last year that the World Series had a 5 out of 9 format. The best 5 out of 9 won the series. 1903, and then 1919, 1920, and 1921.
First World Series was in 1903. Broken bat. The bat was flying into the crowd behind the Blue Jay dugout.
It appears that everybody's all right. And now they'll take the bat, of course, and Borders will have a new bat.
It sounded like he broke it.
It did, but I'm not too sure he broke it or not. It looked like he had tape on the bat, and the new one that he picked up does not have tape. So what they'll do is exchange the bats. The fan will become a lucky fan in 2 ways. Lucky to have dodged the bat, and they'll get a new bat.
Apparently he didn't break it. It just made an odd sound as he got it off the end of the bat.
I thought he broke it.
And he draws a walk. First walk thrown by Rivera. The didn't take long for the Achilles heel of the Phillies. Little relief pitching to show itself. Rivera has pitched 2/3 of an inning. Already has surrendered 1 run. And here's Henkin. How about his bat? You can tell he didn't take much batting practice with it. That is about as shiny and new as a bat can be. Pat said he was going to get the lightest bat he could find.
And he chokes up on it. I think the bat weighs 30 ounces.
Mentioned earlier he played shortstop as a sophomore and junior in high school in Michigan. They said he realized he didn't have the foot speed to be a very good shortstop, so he concentrated on pitching as a senior. He's down a little bit lower now on the bat. Takes a fastball for a strike, 1-2.
You may be interested in knowing the average weight of a major league bat, about 33 ounces, somewhere between 33, 33 and a half. Stan Musial used a 31-ounce bat. Willie Mays a 36-ounce bat.
And the breaking ball gets Henkin. We'll return to Veterans Stadium after this message and a word from your local station.
A CTV News Update brought to you by Canadian Tire. Here is Sandy Ronaldo.
Good evening. Some stories we're following. A face from the past takes on a face of the present. Pierre Trudeau says a vote for the Bloc is a vote for disintegration. And winning the fight against depression can help win the fight against heart disease. More in a moment.
It happens about 52 times a year, and generally after the second cup of coffee. It's called Saturday. And for a lot of people, it means a trip to Canadian Tire, where Canadians can buy products they're proud to own at the price they want to pay. Top quality, guaranteed low prices. Maybe that's why people have been coming back for over 70 years of Saturdays. And all the other fine days, too. There's a lot more to Canadian Tire for a lot less.
Also ahead tonight, Birds of a Feather play Follow the Leader. The details later on the CTV News.
This is the office where our Ford truck engineers get a lot of work done. Because by knowing firsthand how a full-size pickup ought to work, they can make it work even better. That's why the Ford F-Series now has a new standard airbag, standard anti-lock brakes, and constant ideas to make tough even tougher. More proof that at Ford, we're looking ahead and looking to stay ahead. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
Isn't it nice to know you can now enjoy cafe-style cappuccino instantly, right in your home, from Nescafe.
Welcome back to Veterans Stadium as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. I'm Jim Gray. I'm joined by Mr. Pat Henkin, and as you watch your son, Pat Henkin, on the mound, you usually don't watch him pitch. How come?
I'm afraid I might jinx him. But I didn't jinx him today, did I?
No, so far you haven't. You had an opportunity to meet with him during the rain delay. What did he tell you?
I was down in the tunnel just before we came up here, and he motioned to me to come over. And he said, "Dad, is this great or what?" Wow. I can't believe it. Incredible.
You're extremely nervous, aren't you, watching your son?
I'm getting better. I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm all right.
Mr. Henkin, thanks for joining us. Sean and Timmy?
One proud dad, you'd have to say, wouldn't you?
Well, I'll say.
They talk regularly, do Pat Henkin Jr. and Sr. Mariano Duncan looked at a strike. He singled in the first inning, fly to center in the third. In fact, it's been a routine every 5 days or so for the last 8 years. Pat Henkin talks to his dad before or after every start that he makes. Henkin had thrown 70 pitches through the first 5 innings and pitching a shutout. 5-0 Toronto. We're in the 6th. course, Pat Hinkin seemed to have the importance of pitching in the postseason in perspective during the LCS when he made the start against Chicago. His mother, Marcia, was not in attendance because Pat Hinkin's only sister was due to give birth to her first child at any moment. When Pat Hinkin was asked about the importance of his start against the White Sox and the birth of his first nephew, he said, "I think my sister having a baby is more important than me pitching. You've got to remember, this is just a game." Duncan looks at the ball high, and the count is full. Duncan, Kruk, and Hollins coming up. Duncan has only walked one. That was Hollins in the fourth. Duncan fouled the 3-2 away.
And with a 5-run lead, pitchers and catchers are trained. Do not walk the leadoff batter. You don't want to do that at any time, but particularly when you have a 5-run cushion. Throw the ball right down the pipe. You'll see Borders. He's sitting right behind the middle of the plate, and he'll want a fastball, and he's trying to tell Hinkin to keep it down. I don't even think he gave him a sign.
Fastball popped up. Duncan chased ball 4. Molitor has a play and makes it in foul ground. Molitor knocked in the first 2 Toronto runs in the first inning with a triple that drove in Ricky Henderson and Devon White. Molitor scored on a sacrifice fly by Joe Carter. Then it was Molitor again with 2 outs in the third, his solo home run to make it 4-0. Then against Ben Rivera in the 6th, Roberto Alomar led off, singled, stole second and third, and scored on a sacrifice fly by Tony Fernandez. Phillies have had 2 good chances to score in the first inning. They had second and third and 1 out. Fourth inning, first and second and nobody out. Did not score in either inning, and they're still scoreless in the 6th with 1 out and the bases empty. A count of 1-0 on John Kruk. Kruk is 7 for 11 in the World Series now with his 2 for 2 tonight. First inning single, a 4th inning double. Earlier in the postseason, we saw his ripped pants, and rather than go to a new pair, they just fixed the pants.
What a clothes horse.
Of course, we mentioned the other night about all the talk about the Phillies' weight, but the PR men representing Major League Baseball here at the World Series, Mike Swanson of the Colorado Rockies, Rich Griffin of the Expos, computed the average weight of the starters, and the Phillies were only about a pound per man heavier than the Blue Jays. Then you look at the list, and they go by the weight listed for Kruk in the program, which is 214 pounds. Some of the Blue Jays were protesting the stats. Kruk isn't 214. There were 3 Toronto Blue Jays listed as heavier than Kruk: Carter, Sprague, and Olerud. And Carter in particular said, "Hey, there's no way I'm the heaviest guy on the field."
Yeah, well, heavy or not, the only thing the Phillies care about are runs on the board and production, and boy, can that guy ever produce. Cecil Fielder's got to love John Kruk. Cecil Fielder's proven that wrong since he came back from Japan, that you got to be thin to hit.
1 out, a runner at first. That's the second walk issued by Henkin. Kruk has been on base 3 times tonight. Hollins hits it well foul back into the stands and right. At the conclusion of tonight's game, Tim and I will select the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player of the game. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 in the player's name to the Special Olympics. 6th inning, 5-0 Blue Jays. There's Mitch Wild Thing Williams, who saved game 2.
He's in the dugout right now. Usually short relievers don't even go to the bullpen until the middle of the 7th inning. They sit in the dugout until then. Williams realizes he's not going to be called upon until late in the game, if ever.
1-2 on Hollins. Darren Daulton is on deck.
Little surprise, Molitor is holding Kruk on at first base. Kruk's going nowhere. And a normal ground ball to the right side that gets through there. Cito Gaston will not forgive himself.
That's a right, and right at Carter. Hollins hit it well, but it stayed in the air for Carter.
So if you have a right-handed pull hitter up there, it doesn't matter. But when you have the big guns up there, right-handed pitcher, you really should play the first baseman behind the runner at first. And that's what Cito Gaston's going to do right now.
And I think Dave Hollins was about to do some damage to that batting helmet. One of the most intense Phillies is Dave Hollins, the most intense. As a matter of fact, Jim Fregosi said he's the most intense player he's ever been around in 30-odd years of professional baseball. Darren Daulton has had a frustrating night. He's come up in a couple of spots to help the cause for the Phillies and hasn't gotten the job done. He struck out swinging with 2 men in scoring position in the first, and he popped to second with runners at first and second and nobody out in the fourth. The ball, 2-0 on Daulton. Here's Hollins. Takes on kind of a different personality when game time approaches. His teammates call him Mikey. Can't talk to Mikey.
Nope.
An hour prior to game time through the end of the ball game. Otherwise a very pleasant guy.
Oh, absolutely. Very bright guy. Baseball has a no fraternizing rule where you can't talk to opposing players before the game. There's a minor fine for that.
There is?
Yeah,
you
there
never
is.
know it by watching.
Tell me about it. I know. But Dave Hollins doesn't even talk to his own teammates.
That's taking extra precautions to avoid the fine.
It's a fine that is rarely levied, I might add. Usually an umpire before the game, the home plate umpire, is responsible for that. But that is not in vogue anymore.
Full count on Daulton. Should he reach? Jim Eisenreich would bat next. In the bottom of the sixth, Pat Henkin is working on a 4-hit shutout. And the Blue Jays lead 5-0. They try to take a 2-1 lead in the World Series. Kruk runs on the 3-2 pitch. And Daulton chopped it foul. Noticed a couple of times in the World Series that Kruk still appears to be bothered by the bad back that plagued him at the end of the regular season and early in the series against Atlanta in the LCS. He runs again, and that's ball 4. 2 walks thrown by Henkin here in the 6th. And here's Eisenreich, who was 0 for 2 tonight.
When you have a big lead, walks are worse at times than hits, because by putting guys on, what that does is it makes the pitcher more conscious of throwing strikes, and somehow he seems to find the fat part of the plate more often than not. And then the big hit can make it a new ball game in a hurry.
2 men on with 2 outs. Henkin had only thrown 70 pitches coming into this inning. He's thrown 22 here in the 6th. And he misses high again. That brings Borders out to the mound. A look back at game 2, 3rd inning. Jim Eisenreich against Dave Stewart with a 3-run homer, capping a 5-run inning. Kurt Schilling had an inkling Eisenreich might hit a home run in the game. He had had a couple in his career against Dave Stewart. When Eisenreich was in the American League, said, hit a home run tonight for your daughter. And Eisenreich did.
Galen
Cisco, pardon me.
Cisco out to talk to Hentgen, and probably about that very thing. I mean, one pitch in the fat part of the plate to a guy with power, and Eisenreich certainly has that power. And we could see a different ball game here. There's Danny Cox. He is the only pitcher on the Toronto staff that Jim Eisenreich hasn't faced.
Cox, a former Philly, had an excellent season in his first year with Toronto. The 1-0 to Eisenreich. Up the middle, base hit past the diving Fernandez. And the Phillies are on the board as Kruk comes around to score. Jim Eisenreich has his team leading 5th RBI of the World Series.
And Jim got a fat fastball right down the middle. As we said, Hentgen forced into a situation where he had to throw a predictable pitch. And big league hitters, good hitters like Eisenreich, do not miss those very often.
Kind of a typical Phillies run generated by patience, their ability to draw the walk. Now the tying run is in the on-deck circle. And now Hentgen is battling to stay in the ball game. 5-1 Toronto, 6th inning. 2 men on with 2 outs. In Cavilla. Big rip and a miss. Hentgen struck out in Cavilla in the 2nd. And the last time Inky came up was in the 4th with runners at 1st and 2nd and 2 outs, and he flied to center. The head went flying out at the breaking ball, 0-2. For 6 with runners on base, and overall he's 1 for 7. Dalton at 2nd, Eisenreich at 1st. And a ball high to Incavilla. He thought his career might have been over a couple of years ago when he was released by the Detroit Tigers. Struck him out on a breaking ball. So Hentgen gives up 1 but gets out of another chance. And after 6, the Blue Jays 5 and the Phillies 1.
An independent service facility wants you to believe that their trained technicians' warranty and equipment is on par with ours.
Don't you believe it?
Furthermore, our price is lower than theirs on oil changes, brakes, exhaust, tune-ups, steering repairs.
Just to name a few. See us for details.
For your service.
Come to us for the price.
Sherwood Chevrolet on 8th Street East.
Need a ride?
No charge.
Something old is new again. Modern Cafe and Billiards.
Now, Mr. Fidelford, we'll talk about the painting.
Okay.
Now, first, the living room. I want it to be a soft green.
Uh-huh.
Not as blue-green as a robin's egg.
No.
But not as yellow-green as daffodil bud.
No.
It should just be a sort of grayish-yellow green.
Uh-huh.
Good old-fashioned service is available in Saskatoon at East Side Paint, 1201A Walpole Avenue, 1/2 block south of 8th Street behind Kelsey's Restaurant.
Scotia Centre Mall, downtown Saskatoon. The mall on 2nd Avenue South and on 1st Avenue South. We're the mall that joins the avenues. Discover us. We're the mall with style, offering over 20 unique and distinct stores and services where you will find service with style, fashion with style, selection with style, and relaxing with style. Scotia Center Mall, downtown Saskatoon. Discover our style.
On to the 7th inning here at the Vet in Philadelphia. John Olerud has been a spectator to this point, but it's certainly possible he could be in the game soon with the Blue Jays leading in the 7th inning. The last batting champion who led his league in batting average, who did not start a World Series game, was the man you saw, Chick Hafey, who did not start Game 7 of the 1931 World Series. There hasn't been a batting champion who's been in the World Series since then, was failed to start a World Series game. You think Olerud might get in with Molitor due up third and the Blue Jays already ahead, and Henderson on his way to an extra base hit. So answering the calls to bench him, Ricky Henderson is 2 for 4 tonight.
I think the point Cito Gaston was trying to make by continuing to play Ricky Henderson was that if you're going to get him, you got to keep him and play him. I mean, the reason you got him was to help your team not only get to postseason, but once postseason started, to continue to play Ricky Henderson. He is too much of an impact player to sit down, and you may expect a bunt here from Devon White.
Foul ball, pass first.
Went down to talk to Nick Leyva, the third base coach. By the way, Nick Leyva, we mentioned in Game 1, formerly the manager of the Philadelphia Phillies. When he was fired, Jim Fregosi took over, and Nick received a rather warm response tonight from the Philadelphia Phillies fans. Scattered boos, you're saying?
There were a few boos.
I've learned that look in 2 years.
I heard mostly boos. But maybe we heard different introductions.
Maybe we were rehearsing. I don't know.
Yes, we might have been. He was wondering what kind of response he would get. And of course, in Philadelphia, as the locals are somewhat proud of, booing is a tradition. Even Mayor Ed Rendell admits to having come out when he was a youngster and booed the Phillies. It was a close play, but Henderson was back safely. And 1 strike is the count on White. Holland still in tight at third. Ben Rivera, the pitcher. He's pitched an inning plus 1 batter here in the 7th. And has given up 2 hits following the double by Henderson. Blue Jays lead 5-1. They've out-hit Philadelphia 8-5. White squares to bunt. And he fouled it off.
Cito Gaston gave him 1 shot to pull the ball, and then he went to the bunt. By the way, the Mariners usually have a minor wager.
They do. On this World Series, they're betting baseball equipment, about $1,500 worth. Between Philadelphia and Toronto. And Ed Rendell says, well, even if we lose the bet, we'll just send the equipment Atlanta's sending us up to Toronto. So he looks at this as a double or nothing proposition. Time call.
Even the Philadelphia Zoo has gotten into the action. If the Phillies win, they get 2 Tasmanian devils from the Toronto Zoo. And if the Blue Jays win, the Philadelphia Zoo will loan Toronto 2 white lion cubs. So even the zoos are in on it.
Wow. Check swinging a ball in the dirt. Dalton blocked it, then thought about a throw down to second.
Nice play by Darren Dalton. See how he turns that over? Just like a pizza pan. Rotating the mitt from receiving a high pitch to a low pitch.
Still 1-2 on White. We want to finish the point about Chick Hafey. I know you remember Chick Hafey of the Cardinals back in 1931, the batting champion who did not start Game 7 of the 31 World Series. The reason he didn't start, of course, had nothing to do with the DH. Back then, he was 4 for 24. He made a key error in left field in Game 6. So he did not start in Game 7. Check swing and another breaking ball in the dirt. Ernie Orsatti started in left field.
Matter of fact, he never played again for the Cardinals. Gabby Street was the manager and was so upset by his World Series performance. Chick Hafey never played another game in a St. Louis uniform.
Went to Cincinnati in the offseason, was replaced in left field by Ducky Medwick. But in that 31 World Series Game 7, it was Ernie Orsatti in left field. White down the line, fair ball, and another run for Toronto. Henderson around to make it 6-1. White streaking toward third. He'll have a triple standing up. So Devon White continues to have a big series. This is his first hit tonight, his 4th in the 3 games, and his 3rd run batted in.
That's after 12 hits in the ALCS. Devon White is the only member of both clubs who has hit in every game. Len Dykstra had hit in every game, but he's 0 for 3 on the night. So White driving in Henderson with a triple in the corner. And the Blue Jays extend their lead.
And again tonight, the Philadelphia bullpen provides no relief. And Rivera has given up 2 runs in 1 inning. The infield in for the Phillies with Paul Molitor at the plate. He's 2 for 3 with a 2-run triple in the first. And a solo homer in the third. He bounced to third his last time up. He has scored twice and has driven in 3.
We talked about how Molitor explodes his hips into the ball. Look at the home run swing.
Triple by Molitor. That's well hit to left. Up and in, 2-1. 6-1 Toronto in the 7th inning. Molitor is now 5 for 10 in the World Series. Did you know that Ernie Orsatti, who went in for Chick Hafey, was only 5'7", 145 pounds?
No, I didn't.
And appeared in Buster Keaton movies. When he wasn't playing baseball. He went 0 for 3, but the Cardinals did win without Chick Hafey in Game 7. For those who are wondering about the rest of the story. And that probably includes 3 or 4 in our viewing audience tonight. Full count now on Molitor. And the payoff pitch is not close. Molitor is aboard for the 3rd time tonight. There is action in the Philadelphia bullpen, and Dalton and Duncan go to the mound to buy time for Bobby Thigpen, who was up very early when Jackson had a tough time in the first couple of innings.
The way this inning is going, in all probability, the number 3 spot will be up again, probably in the 9th inning, which means that Molitor could hit again. But I would think with a 5-run lead and the chance for another big inning here that Cito Gaston will be thinking more about defense and insert John Olerud in the bottom of the 7th inning. You can see John getting loose.
He once described his personality as just south of comatose. Joe Carter looked at ball 1 low and away. Excellent backhanded stab by Dalton with the runner at third. Fine play by Darren Dalton
to prevent further damage. But now with nobody out, the Philly infield has moved back into double play depth, conceding what would be the 7th run if they can push it across.
A ball and a strike on Carter. He's 1 for 2 with a single and a sacrifice fly tonight. (6-1) Toronto in Game 3 of the World Series. In the 7th inning, still nobody out. First 3 Jays have reached. Molitor 22 stolen bases during the regular season. More than 20 home runs and 20 stolen bases at age 37. He's the oldest man to do that. And of course, Ricky Henderson did that this year at age 34. And Ricky is the 2nd oldest player. They have 20 home runs and 20 steals in the same season. Tommy Craig, the excellent Blue Jays trainer, putting a bandage on the leg of Ricky Henderson. One and 2 the count. Ben Rivera, formerly the property of the Atlanta Braves organization. Came over in a trade in May of 1992 for Donnie Elliott. Molitor runs. Carter fouls one out of play. Molitor in his first year with the Blue Jays after 15 in Milwaukee. His manager his last year in Milwaukee was Phil Garner. Garner said if Molitor had played in a major market for all those years, under high visibility and media scrutiny, he would be considered the best player in the game. Breaking ball in the dirt.
I think about 5 or 6 years ago, I don't think people were thinking about Paul Molitor in Hall of Fame terms, but now you only think of him in Hall of Fame terms.
And he's under contract to the Blue Jays for 2 more seasons. This is the first year of a 3-year, $13 million contract. Still 2-2 on Carter. He'll be followed by Roberto Alomar. Here in the 7th, pace has slowed with Rivera in trouble since the inning began. A pop-up. Dalton goes as far as he can go and couldn't make the play.
Dalton found the ball through the mask and ran out of room. You can actually go in the dugout to catch the ball. Matter of fact, if you have it in your mitt and anyone touches you and you drop the ball as a result, the batter is out.
There's been a lot of talk about the length of the games. This has been a 5-minute at bat for Carter. He's only seen 7 pitches. He strikes out on the breaking ball in the dirt.
And another fine play by Darren Dalton. Nice play by Dalton as he smothers the slider to keep not only a run from scoring, but Molitor from going to second.
That's the first out of the inning. And 3rd strikeout for Rivera, who's pitched an inning and a 3rd. Von White, the runner at 3rd. Paul Molitor is aboard at 1st. In the 7th, the Blue Jays lead 6-1. They've led throughout after taking a 3-0 lead in the top of the 1st. 2 singles, 2 stolen bases, and a run scored tonight for the All-Star and Gold Glove winner at second base in the American League. At the knees, a strike. Base hit right field, and another run for Toronto as Devon White is in from third to make it 7-1. Molitor to third on the play, and Roberto Alomar has his 3rd hit of the night, his 3rd RBI of the World Series. And here comes Jim Fregosi. He's consulting with Mark Johnson. He's probably going to make a double switch, and he will, as he has Milt Thompson trotting onto the field, and he'll take over for Pete Incaviglia in left, and there will be a pitching change as well. We're in the 7th inning. The Blue Jays lead 7-1. They're up to 10 hits now, and Bobby Thigpen will be the new pitcher. We'll return to Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia right after this.
Hey, the 649 jackpot is $12 million.
Just imagine. Imagine. Just imagine if you could go wherever your heart may lead. Imagine. Just imagine the freedom.
Looking for a jacket that won't wear out in 6 months, doesn't make you look like an astronaut? Look here. The Hobo Clothing Company. And when you look, make sure you compare apples to apples. What's in a hobo jacket? Stunner nylon with entrant coating, tape waterproof seams, Coban 80 thread, heavyweight zippers. In case you don't recognize it, it's quality. Hobo Clothing Company on Broadway.
Here's 2 more reasons why all trucks are not created equal. Buy a 94 Ford F-150 and get a standard driver's side airbag and rear anti-lock brakes. Plus get 3.9 financing up to 48 months, but only till October 22nd and only at your Ford and Mercury dealer. Here's 2 more reasons why all trucks are not created equal. Ford trucks offer 14 new clear coat exteriors to go with their car-like interiors, plus 3.9 financing up to 48 months, but only till October 22nd and only at your Ford and Mercury dealer.
Craig Wilson and Warren Henderson. Good sports on CFQC TV News Center.
Another highlight from Game 3 of the '69 series.
2-strike delivery. Here's a fly ball to right center field, deep in right center. Jamsky with A.G. A.G. dives, and he makes the catch.
That was in the 7th inning. The second terrific catch of the ball game by Tommy Agee. Bases loaded and 2 outs. That was a catch on a ball hit by Paul Blair. Nolan Ryan got the save in that ball game. And here's Bobby Thigpen, who did not record a save in 17 games with the Phillies. He came over in a midseason deal for Jose De Leon. And his first pitch, a ball to Tony Fernandez. It was a double switch. Milt Thompson now in left. Thompson will bat in the number 9 spot, and Thigpen would hit in the number 7 spot. Incaviglia made the last out of the inning, so Thigpen would be scheduled to hit 9th in the 7th inning. And that's how it looks. on the lineup card. Stocker scheduled to lead off when we go to the bottom of the 7th. Still only one out in the top of the inning. 2 runs in. The Blue Jays have built a 7-1 lead.
By the way, Sean, you talk about that 1969 series when the Mets beat the Baltimore Orioles in 5 games. The gentleman who recorded the save in game number 2 was Ron Taylor, who is the team physician of the Toronto Blue Jays now. Ron Taylor, also a teammate of mine on the 1964 world champion St. Louis Cardinals.
So he's no stranger to a ring. Fernandez at the plate with runners at first and third. Paul Molitor is the runner at third base. And Roberto Alomar being held on by John Kruk at first. Full count on Fernandez. Blue Jays have come through with runners in scoring position tonight, and that's been a big problem for Philadelphia. The Phillies have had some chances but have managed only 1 run.
Yeah, I think especially in the bottom of the 1st inning, because Toronto had scored 3 in the top. If they answer with 1 or 2, then they're immediately back in the ball game.
Alomar was running with a 3-2 pitch. Fernandez drew a walk. This has been the problem spot for the Phillies all year long, middle relief, and it hasn't been for lack of trying different options. Among those used by Jim Fregosi, middle relief this year, not as a setup man or closer, just middle relief. Bob Ayrault, Mark Davis, Jose De Leon, Tyler Green, Roger Mason, Tim Mauser, Don Paul, Bobby Thigpen, and Mike Williams. You know you're having problems when you run through that many guys, and it's not due to injury. Thigpen set the major league record with 57 saves, but he hasn't been the same since then. That was in 1990 with an ERA of 1.83. The ERA has gone up, the saves have gone down, and every year since. That looked like a pretty good pitch. Called the ball, 1-1 on Sprague, who's 0 for 3 tonight, and now just 1 for 11 in the World Series. White Sox general manager Ron Schuler made the trade and he sent Thigpen to Philadelphia. He said it's not beyond the realm of possibility that Thigpen could return to his previous form.
Thigpen got a break there.
Yes, indeed. 1-2 the count. He said every now and then the velocity is good. There's good movement on the slider. It's just been sporadic in recent years. Good movement on that pitch to deep left. Thompson, the catch, and Molitor comes home from third. It's 8-1 Blue Jays. Ed Sprague has his first RBI of the World Series, and Molitor has scored for the 3rd time tonight. And run is charged to Rivera.
I wonder if Cito Gaston is tempted to play Paul Molitor tomorrow night. He said he wouldn't, but after this performance tonight, how do you sit him down? Of course, you have a right-handed starter tomorrow night, Tommy Green.
Pat Borders to shallow left center. Dykstra coming hard. Great catch. And that saved at least 1 run for Philadelphia. The Blue Jays get 3 in the 7th, and at the stretch they lead 8-1.
Labatt presents the World Series on CTV, sponsored by SaskTel.
Gotta tell you about the SaskTel Long Distance Windfall Call Contest. Keep track of your long distance calls. When you've made 5, send them in to win. Or order one of these SaskTel Long Distance Savings Plans. You could win a new Pontiac Grandette. Or one of 2 Macintosh computers from Apple. Or one of hundreds of great prizes from SaskTel. Make every call count with the SaskTel Long Distance Windfall Call Contest. Entry forms in your mail or at SaskTel Telmarts.
This is your standard living room, seating for 8 with all the comforts of home. Our living room also has seating for 8 with all the comforts of home. The only difference is ours comes with a 4.3-liter V6 engine, standard 4-wheel anti-lock brakes, a driver's side facial airbag, and the most towing capacity in its class. Introducing the 1994 GMC Safari.
Cheese, please.
Isn't it nice to have a taste for life?
Canadian cheese, please.
This man is no ordinary man. He sets the prices at Canadian Tire. Prices that get noticed. Prices that have impact. He keeps prices especially low on many of the brands you use most. No, this is not a sale. It's everyday low prices like these MotoMaster all-season radials from $27.99 each, and save every day on 4 packs of hockey tape and Cooper SK600 hockey helmets. So please, don't be alarmed. He just likes doing his job. There's a lot more to Canadian Tire for a lot less.
The Philly fanatic in action earlier to the strains of "Whoop, there it is," which is becoming a popular refrain around sports, including here in Philadelphia. There are different versions of this song. You can hear that this one has been tailor-made for the Phillies.
Doubtful that "Whoop, there it is" will ever be played by the Philadelphia Orchestra, however.
No. But in some versions it's "Whoop, there it is," or "Woomph," but here it's "Woot" with a T on the end. Just thought you'd like to know.
Maybe it's the accent.
Which version do you go by?
Whoop.
You're a Whoop guy?
W-H-O-O-M-P. Whoop.
Danny Cox, the new pitcher for Toronto after 6. Superb from Pat Henkin. And Cox's first pitch in this World Series is a strike to Kevin Stalker, who singled his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Phillies with a lot of work to do now. Batting in the 7th inning, down by 7 runs, 8-1. Henkin allowed 1 run on 5 Philadelphia hits over 6 innings. He walked 3 and struck out 6. 5 of those in the first 2 1/3. Came out throwing hard by his standards. Velocity certainly had returned after being down in his most recent starts. And Molitor's been the story of the night. Cito Gaston decided to put him in at first base. Put John Olerud, the league's leading hitter, on the bench. And Molitor certainly made the manager look smart. He has 2 hits, a homer, and a triple. He's driven in 3 runs and has scored 3. Stalker strikes out. Game 4 tomorrow night here at the Vet. 8 o'clock Eastern time, with the first pitch scheduled for 8:12. Lenny Dykstra will be looking out at Todd Stottlemyre tomorrow night. Both teams will use 4 starting pitchers in this World Series. Tommy Green will go for Philadelphia. Bill Thompson up for the first time tonight. He appeared in Game 1 and went 0 for 3. Chopped down the line, foul behind Mel Roberts in the first base coach's box. 1-2 on Thompson. 1 out, bases empty. 7th inning, 8-1 Toronto. Thompson hasn't done much with the bat over the late season, the League Championship Series or the World Series, but he has made a couple of splendid defensive plays. Blown away. 2-2 on Milt Thompson.
First major league game for Danny Cox was back on August 6, 1983. And he had a duel with Steve Carlton, who was then with the Phillies. Cardinals eventually won 1-0 in 11 innings.
Alomar a long way to his right. He went leaping in the air and then bounced blasted by Molitor. The play backed up by Borders. And Thompson is safe at first with 1 out.
Doubtful that if Molitor holds on that Thompson is out. So it's an infield hit all the way for Milt Thompson.
And even though Molitor couldn't come up with it, it didn't prove costly as Borders hustled down the line. So the Phillies have 6 hits now. A runner at first with 1 out for Lenny Dykstra, who is 0 for 3 tonight. And now 3 for 11 in the World Series. Well hit. Carter has it sail over his head and go off the bottom of the wall. Thompson on his way to third, hits so sharply that Dykstra has to settle for a single. And that's the 12th consecutive postseason game with at least 1 hit for Lenny Dykstra.
So good hitting by Dykstra. Thompson goes to third easily, but watch the play by Joe Carter, playing the carom perfectly, and he holds Dykstra to first base. The Phillies did come from behind. They were trailing the San Francisco Giants 8-0 on April 26th. They ended up beating the Giants in that game. So this team certainly capable of mounting a comeback. They got a long way to go, however.
They do indeed. First and third and 1 out. 7th inning. 8-1 Toronto. Duncan a base hit. Thompson is in. Dykstra to second. It's 8-2. And Mariano Duncan continues to produce in the number 2 spot in the Phillies batting order here in the World Series. He's 2 for 4 tonight, has 6 hits in the 3 games. This is his first RBI.
Up the middle, Dykstra forced to stop at second. And now what the Phillies are looking for is a blast.
They have their big bats coming up. Their biggest bat in this series has been John Kruk, who will wait as Cox conferred with Borders. There is no action in Cito Gaston's bullpen at the moment. Kruk has singled and doubled and walked. He scored the only run charged to Henkin last inning. Strike, fastball on the outside third. And that's just outside. 1-1 on Kruk. Dave Hollins to follow.
Jim Fregosi so impressed with this Phillies ball club, saying that every day in and day out, you get 9 innings out of it. They don't care what the score is.
In the dirt and plucked out by Borders, keeping Dykstra at second and Duncan at first. Cox started this inning by striking out Stocker, but since then the Phillies have hit 3 straight singles by Thompson, Dykstra, and Duncan. Danny Cox, a 34-year-old veteran. Low, 3 balls and 1 strike. The bases.
I think the obvious guy to have up right now and ready is Al Leiter. Remember, he won game 1, but nobody is throwing for the Blue Jays. And remember, tomorrow night Todd Stottlemyre is starting, and the implication from Cito Gaston talking to him on Sunday was that he's going to have Leiter fresh and ready to go if Stottlemyre gets in trouble. kind of brought it up, and he said, yeah, that's exactly right. So that's one of the big reasons Leiter's not up tonight, one would think.
So wonder as Koch continues to struggle why somebody isn't up in the bullpen.
Yeah, right.
They're stirring around out there, but there isn't anybody throwing. Hollins pops one out of play.
Because now if you get a blast from the Phillies, even an extra base hit, then they creep a lot closer, and it may be too late to get the bullpen up. But it looks like Tony Castillo is up and throwing.
He is, and he's thrown one warm-up pitch. Bases full of Phillies with one out. On the ground hard. Molitor, nice play to second. Back to first. Out at first. And the Phillies will argue the call. The double play gets them out of the inning. 3-6-1. And Molitor did his part like he's played first base his entire life. Close play.
Gotta tell you about the SaskTel Long Distance Windfall Call Contest. Keep track of your long distance calls. When you've made 5, send them in to win. Or order one of these SaskTel Long Distance Savings Plans. You could win a new Pontiac Grand Am. Or one of 2 Macintosh computers from Apple. Or one of hundreds of great prizes from SaskTel. Make every call count with the SaskTel Long Distance Windfall Call Contest. Entry forms in your mail or at SaskTel Telmarts.
It looks European, definitely European in style.
He hugs you, there's lots of room. It's very inviting and comfortable.
Transversely mounted V6.
If I want to be by myself, I won't go upstairs and read. I will go for a drive. It would be a winding road, trees, mountains. There would have to be water.
I love the way this thing corners. Responses in this car are smooth. I could drive this car all day. You just made a dream come true.
Right now at Tim Hortons, you can enjoy one of our many savory soups with a tea biscuit, coffee, and a donut for just $2.99. Or you can enjoy a fresh Tim Hortons sandwich with a coffee and a donut from just $3.69 to $4.49. You know, that's quite the soup deal for only $2.99. And a Tim Hortons sandwich deal from only $3.69? Wow! Tim Hortons mealtime deals. It's so nice to have a choice.
Officer John Spartan has a new partner.
What I wouldn't give for some action.
I'm impressed. To fight an old enemy.
I'm a blast from the past.
Buckle up. Demolition Man.
Now playing at a theater near you.
Labatt presents the World Series on CTV. Sponsored by SaskTel.
And it would be appropriate to say that Paul Molitor has had a whopper of a night with 3 runs batted in, a triple and a home run. Roberto Alomar 3 for 4 with a couple of stolen bases, and the Phillies 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position, including the ground ball into a double play by Hollins. It was very close at first.
It appeared that Hollins was safe. However, it was a call that could have gone to the Blue Jays. It did, but it was a very, very close play. From this angle, it looks like Hollins was safe more than from the other angle. Looks like
heel on the base as the ball is just going into the glove.
Right.
Danny Cox bats for himself, and Stalker throws him out. Charlie Williams was going to get an argument on that play probably either way.
Right.
But it was a big call. The Phillies would have had a run on the play, and the inning would have stayed alive. Instead, it's 8-2. In the top of the 8th, 1 out and the base is empty. The top of the order coming back around for Toronto for the 5th time.
Not only scoring a run, it would have been an 8-3 ball game, 2 on and Darren Dalton up. If the Phillies could have had a pop at the right time, then they're right back in the game.
Now Ricky Henderson, who quieted some of his critics with his performance tonight. 2 for 4, 2 runs scored, single and a double. And the top of the order has had a big night. Anderson 2 for 4 and 2 runs scored. White 1 for 3. He has scored twice. And Molitor 2 for 3 has scored 3 times and has driven in 3. The Blue Jays have set a World Series record tonight with 3 sacrifice flies. Not only has there not been a team with 3 sacrifice flies in a World Series game prior to tonight, but there has not been a World Series game prior to tonight in which the 2 teams had combined for 3 sacrifice flies. And the Jays have done that all by themselves. Dave Stewart, reason to smile, and his club up by 6 in the late innings. Jack Morris has joined in the levity as well.
If you're interested, the sacrifice fly was an official stat in baseball in 1954. Earlier, back in the teens, the 20s, the 30s, it was used sporadically. And obviously the big advantage to the hitter is he gets an RBI and is not charged with the time at bat.
Bobby Thigpen came on last inning, walked the first man he faced, and retired the next 2 hitters. Ben Rivera pitched an inning and a third of relief and gave up 4 runs. Those were 4 very big runs. Now there's a 6-run game. Full count on Henderson. Will be a free agent at the end of the year. Oh! Well, you could hear that in your living room, and it sure sounded like it hurt.
Crunch. 3-2 pitch. It appeared that Thigpen was trying to come inside to Henderson, and it hit him on the left elbow, right above the elbow. Oh boy, almost on the tip. Ouch. It was somewhat glancing. I'll tell you, the worst that you can be hit is when the ball hits and the ball just stays there. When it goes back to the screen, it was not a solid blow, but certainly solid enough. That's all Ricky Henderson needs with his bad hands, is to have a bad elbow.
Both hands hurting, and now the left elbow is sore. Tommy Craig, the trainer, went out to check on Ricky, and he'll continue. He's at first with 1 out, and Devon White is coming up. We mentioned that it was White who had to surrender the leadoff spot and moved down to the number 2 spot for the most part. Henderson arrived, and White has handled Henderson's arrival very well by all reports. As a matter of fact, out at first, Thigpen picks off Henderson, and the elbow hurts a little more now.
Very quick move, and look at Henderson. He broke towards second, and now the throw nails him. Watch the move towards second. Too late to get back now.
Well, you had to think that after getting hit, Ricky would like nothing better than to steal second base off Bobby Thigpen. Thigpen wasted no time in going over there. 1 strike on White. I mentioned that Devon has a copy of Ricky Henderson's biography, Man of Steel, it's called, S-T-E-A-L, in his locker. Devon says he hasn't read it yet. He will. As we mentioned the other night, batting second, behind Henderson. White has seen more fastballs, and he's a good fastball hitter. Devon has 4 hits in the World Series now, all 4 for extra bases, including his triple that drove in a run last inning. He scored last inning. He scored after walking in the first. He's 2 for 3, 1 for 3 rather tonight, with 2 runs scored. Well, we had tonight's game delayed 1 hour and 12 minutes by rain. And there is the possibility, the considerable chance of rain here tomorrow night. 70%. It's reduced to 30% on Thursday when Game 5 is scheduled. It sure has been nice here throughout the postseason. We've been here for the game for the Braves. the last couple of days, yesterday and today. Today was a nice day until shortly before game time. Pleasantly warm. Into the 70s yesterday here. And Paul Molitor waits on deck. Full count on White. We're in the top of the 8th. The Blue Jays lead 8-2. They've out-hit the Phillies 10-8. Toronto's made the game's only error. Bobby Thigpen, product of Mississippi State. Watches White drill one to deep right. Hooking. Foul. Home run distance. Down the runway toward the 200 level concourse.
That's the way Bobby Thigpen used to hit them at Mississippi State. Batting behind Will Clark and Rafael Palmeiro. Jeff Brantley with the Giants on that team also.
Another 3-2. And this one's a pop-up in shallow left. Stalker takes charge. And that ends the inning. On to the bottom of the 8th in Philadelphia. 8-2 Toronto.
Now, with a Coca-Cola Sports Break, here's Rod Black.
All right, everybody, the Jays cruising along tonight. Good news for the Maple Leafs. Their 7 straight wins to start the season. They beat Hartford tonight. Other happenings in the hockey world in Madison Square Garden. They want it to snow there. They're dreaming. It's too early for it to snow. This is Tony Amonte scoring there against the Mighty Ducks. But then Terry Yake puts on a show for the Ducks. Yake with the backhand, beating Mike Richter, and then he takes a shot right here. But then Yake will get another shot later. Patrick Karnbach hits the post, and then Yake, as the puck will come around, will just whip one into the net. The first Duck ever to score the hat trick. The Ducks beat the Rangers 4-2. In Vancouver, the Canucks and the Boston Bruins. Adam Oates and Cam Neely working some little magic here. Neely one-hands one behind Kay Whitmore. The Bruins had the early lead, but then it's Pavel Bure. Watch this play as he goes between the two Bruins. That's past Raymond Bourque, past John Casey. Vancouver leading Boston 4-1. Bure has a pair. San Jose and St. Louis going at it. The Blues leading 2-1. Good news in Hamilton, the Tiger Cats won't be moving, at least not in the foreseeable future. Toronto broker David McDonald, along with an investment group, putting together a deal that will pump more than $3 million into the cash-strapped club, so the Cats have a new life. Bottom of the 8th in a moment, the Jays and the Phillies back after this.
It looks European, definitely European in style.
He hugs you, there's lots of room. It's very inviting and comfortable.
Transversely mounted V6.
If I want to be by myself, I won't go upstairs and read. I will go for a drive. It would be a winding road, trees, mountains. There would have to be water.
I love the way this thing corners. Responses in this car are smooth. I could drive this car all day. You just made a dream come true.
With the Blue Jays in control, 8-2 as we head to the bottom of the 8th. We're now joined by Jim Fergosi's father, Archie Fergosi. And Archie, what advice will you give Jim for tomorrow?
Well, I can't give him too much advice. He's doing a good job. I think he's doing a good coach job.
He tells us that you advise him and second-guess him quite a bit. So I know you'll have something to say tomorrow.
Well, I'll talk to him about the game today. But I can't give him too much coaching. He's doing a good job.
What advice would you give him then? What will you tell him?
Well,
you don't want to say?
That first inning, it was just a tough break. I can't tell you too much about that.
Do you second guess him quite a bit?
Sometimes, not too often.
Are you the guy who taught him all of his baseball?
Practically, I teach him quite a bit.
Now, you had a big decision whether or not to come to these games because you had to give up your third base coaching job for Gailey's Bakery back there in San Francisco. How tough a decision was it?
Well, it was all my life. I've been waiting for this, and it's my chance to do it. So I had to come to see these games.
Did the team win without you?
Well, I hope they did.
All right, Mr. Fergosi, thank you for joining us.
And his daughter's here, too.
Wife and daughter. Good to see the whole Fergosi family. Sean?
Thank you, Jim. Jim Eisenreich out on the bouncing ball to second. I'd be curious to know if Jim Fergosi second guesses Archie's third base coaching when he's in the box for Galley's Bakery out there in South San Francisco.
Works both ways, doesn't it?
I don't know if Jim Gray is still in the vicinity, but It does work both ways, one would think.
Jim said that while he was playing, if he had a home run, everybody would show up at Galley's Bakery the next morning, have a glass of champagne on Archie's son's home run, and then go on to work.
Mickey Morandini, the batter. He's up for the first time tonight. And Jim Gray off the air did pose the question to Archie Fregosi, and Archie says, yeah, Jim Fregosi has second-guessed some of Archie's third base coaching. So. All's fair. 3-0 on Morandini. He's batting for Thigpen. You'll recall the double switch earlier. Thigpen inserted in the number 7 spot in the batting order. 2 outs, bases empty, bottom of the 8th. Toronto seemingly in control, 8-2. And after your late local news, we hope you'll stay tuned for The Late Show with David Letterman. His guests tonight are David Steinberg and Emmylou Harris. That's tonight on Late Show with David Letterman, following your late local news. If I'm not mistaken, David Steinberg is Canadian. I would imagine he's a Blue Jay fan.
Huge following in Canada, obviously, for both the Montreal Expos and the Toronto Blue Jays.
Kevin Stocker is the hitter, and he looked at a strike. Wow. Dwayne Ward popping them out there. Our audio man, the best in the business in our opinion, Bob Seiderman, celebrating a birthday tonight. All of us on CBS Baseball want to wish Bob a happy birthday. One bit of audio Bob does not want to hear is any of us singing for him. Tried that the other night on your birthday. We have plenty of cake left from the other night.
Yeah, we do.
Stick a few candles in it. Cox strikes out Stocker, and that ends the inning. And we go to the 9th, 8-2 Blue Jays.
Looking for some action, some sweet distraction. Not looking to be nobody's fool. Yeah, we're one-on-one. We're having some fun. We're playing by the home rules. Yeah, I'm a bud man. Just looking for some sweet, sweet fun. I'm a bud man, and this bud's for you.
Around here, you never know what you'll be doing next. Hauling hay out to the zebras, pulling somebody out of the mud. You know, I think I've shoveled more species of manure than anyone in the country. But the Mazda trucks are dependable. That's the big reason. And strong.
The all-new Mazda B4000 pickup. Now with the strength of 4-liter V6 power.
Because you'd be surprised how quickly a Rhino can accelerate.
Now get a no-charge 3-liter V6 upgrade or equivalent value credit. See dealer for full details.
Since Audio Warehouse opened in 1964, technology has changed drastically. If your TV hasn't, step into the 21st century at Audio Warehouse. Audio Warehouse is committed to bringing you only the most respected names in television. Whether it's 14 or 55 inches, Toshiba gives you the ultimate entertainment experience. Audition the new Toshiba Cinema Series today. Toshiba for the truly sensational color and sound. Now at Audio Warehouse. Audio Warehouse, making TV worth watching since 1964.
Cameco and the uranium mining industry are making a difference in communities like Porcupine Plain.
Cameco and the exploration industry purchased thousands of core boxes from us during the course of a year. Not only does this allow us to survive, but I think in real terms it allows our small rural community to survive as well.
The Porcupine Opportunities Real Work for Real Wages program gives challenged people more than jobs. It shows them what they can achieve.
The people who work here take a lot of pride in their work, and it shows.
Cameco, connected to Saskatchewan's communities.
This is CTV, Canada's official network of the Olympic Winter Games.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. Well, the concert must be over across the street at the Spectrum because Madonna has made her way into the vet to catch the final innings of Game 3 of the World Series. We're heading to the 9th. It's 8-2 Toronto. And Paul Molitor will lead off. Chance for Molly to put the finishing touches on a big night. He tripled to drive in 2 in the first and scored. He had a solo home run in the third. He walked and scored in the 7th. Larry Anderson, the new pitcher for Philadelphia, missed with his first offering. Anderson, the 4th pitcher of the night, following Danny Jackson, Ben Rivera, and Bobby Thigpen. Thigpen pitched inning and 2/3 of scoreless relief without allowing a hit. He walked 1 and hit a batter. Anderson making his 2nd appearance in the World Series. And Molitor remains the only man in World Series history with 5 hits in 1 game. That was in '82 for Milwaukee. Stalker has to hurry. Safe. And Molitor has his 3rd hit of the night. He's on base for the 4th time.
It was a double clutch by Stalker, however, that allowed Molitor to get a hit. And an infield hit. You have to hurry, and Molitor running hard all the way beats the play.
Now Joe Carter, who looked at strike 1. Joe had a sacrifice fly in the first. He singled in the third, lined to left in the 5th, and struck out in the 7th. Speculated that perhaps Paul Molitor would come out. Olerud would go in for defense in the late innings, but at the very least, Molitor will go through 8.5 innings tonight. Gave you the note earlier about Olerud, the first league batting champion not to start a World Series game for his team since Chick Hafey of the Cardinals back in 1931. Now, some of you might have been saying, what about Willie McGee? We mentioned the note. We noted that it was batting champion of Baton League. Of course, Willie McGee won the 1990 NL batting championship while with St. Louis, was traded to Oakland late in the season. Started only 2 of 4 games in the World Series. We mentioned the note involves Molitor in his own league. Nice play by Duncan. Safe at first. Carter ran hard to avoid the double play. And it was almost a beauty of a twin killing turn by Philadelphia. Duncan handled the hot smash and flipped it in a nice place for Stalker to handle it.
Not only the backhand of the one-hopper, Anderson just misses it, but watch how softly underneath the glove Duncan gives it to Stalker, and Carter is safe at first base. Fine play by Mariano Duncan. Talk about the performance of Molitor. Cito Gaston, I don't think is that we've really given him credit enough for showing the guts and the courage to play Molitor and taking the American League batting champion out of there in the process. It was a tough decision. I think he showed a lot of guts. He's going to be criticized one way or the other. I mean, what if Molitor has a bad game defensively and goes 0 for 4?
I think his feeling was, and the feeling of many Blue Jay fans is, that even though Olerud won the batting title, Molitor is really the most valuable player on the club that has been this year with all that he has done.
So what do you do tomorrow night then? And Cito Gaston, and so Cito Gaston has said we'll probably keep him out tomorrow night. And again, he's got to have second thoughts now since Molitor has played such a great game. But against a right-handed pitcher, you can't sit Olerud. Would Cito possibly be tempted to play him at third base tomorrow night? I mean, he did have the 3-6-1 double play that got him out of the 7th inning.
He
Molitor
really
started
hasn't had any problems at first. He had the one ball that bounced by him, but that took a strange hop right down the line. Ball hit earlier in the game. It makes sense from the standpoint that Sprague has had a tough time in the series. He's 1 for 11.
I mean, is the fact that Molitor looks comfortable at first base, is that enough to change Cito's mind to put him at third, combined with his offensive skills?
That's heading for the gap for Roberto Alomar. Carter will come around and score. Alomar's thinking about third, and he'll get there without a throw. It's 9-2 Toronto, and Roberto Alomar has his 4th hit of the night. 3 singles and a triple. He has driven in 2 runs tonight.
The only
stolen 2 bases and scored a run, and he's at third again.
The only time the Phillies have gotten Roberto out tonight was a line drive to Dave Hollins, his first time up. It's almost like he came out tonight probably a little embarrassed by the play made on Sunday night, with a new determination. Not that it takes a lot of determination for Alomar. Certainly has that.
Well, Cito Gaston said he didn't need to say anything to Alomar about the play because Roberto knew that it was a bad play. Tony Fernandez fouled the first pitch away. He has an infield hit, a sacrifice fly, and a walk tonight. Fly to right his first time up. Larry Anderson touched up for a run here in the 9th. The Jays with 12 hits now. The Phils have 8. It's 9-2 Toronto. The infield in for Philadelphia. On the outside corners as Mark Johnson. 1-2 on Fernandez with Ed Sprague on deck. Two and 2.
Phillies, keep in mind, were blown out of game 2 and 3 by the Atlanta Braves. They trailed 2 games to 1 and came back and won 3 in a row.
Base hit through the drawn-in infield. Fernandez has his 2nd hit and 2nd RBI of the night. Alomar scores for the 2nd time, and the Blue Jays lead is 10-2. So it seems apparent now that the Jays will take a 2-1 lead into tomorrow night's Game 4, which comes your way here on CBS at 8 Eastern time. First pitch at 8:12 tomorrow night. Actually, it's later today. At least in the Eastern time zone. But the rain had something to do with the late hour tonight. Game delayed 1 hour and 12 minutes at the start. Sprague, a 1-hopper to Duncan. Good play by Kruk. Come off the bag on the errant throw. Sprague safe on the fielder's choice. Fernandez erased at 2nd for 6. 2 outs and a runner at first for Toronto in the 9th inning. And Borders to hit next, and John Olerud is in the on-deck circle with the pitcher due up after Borders. First pitch, a swing and a miss by Borders. It was 0 for 3 last time. Lenny Dykstra made a great catch in the 7th inning of the pop fly hit by Borders in his shallow left center. Pat has walked tonight. Pop up near the Phillies dugout. That'll be a couple of rows back. 62,689 the official attendance here tonight. 62,689 at Veterans Stadium. A lot of them have gone home. 1-2 to Borders. Way outside. And as we mentioned, John Olerud might get a chance to hit. Dykstra snares the line drive. The Blue Jays get 2 more in the 9th, and as we go to the bottom of the 9th, it's 10-2 Toronto.
This is the office where our Ford truck engineers get a lot of work done. Because by knowing firsthand how a full-size pickup ought to work, they can make it work even better. That's why the Ford F-Series now has a new standard airbag, standard anti-lock brakes, and constant ideas to make tough even tougher. More proof that at Ford, we're looking ahead and looking to stay ahead. Ford F-Series, built Ford tough.
The Blues, they have this energy, this intensity. It's when the sun goes down and the Blues, they come out to play.
Like all great blues, ours have a quality that comes from the heart of the country.
That's cool.
Medravine is one tough cop.
Police emergency, I need the vehicle. All right, pull it over.
With one small weakness.
Who can say no to a Reno?
Not me.
Women. Only this time, his weakness could prove fatal.
Oh my God, Ned, you look like you were hit by a bus.
I was. Fatal Instinct, a killer comedy. Starts Friday, October 29th.
Out here isn't the only place our Ford F-Series pickups have blazed new trails. Our engineering labs are filled with constant improvements like our new standard airbag and new convertible console seat. And yet, along with all these new ideas, there's one that's not new for us at all: toughness. Because when you design a truck for the future, it better be built to last that long. Ford F-Series, the #1 selling truck, is built Ford tough.
This game is brought to you in part by...
This game is also brought to you by Nike, official sponsor.
The senior producer of CBS Sports is Ed Gorn. The executive, that's the second night in a row I've mispronounced that word, executive. In charge of production is Rick Gentile. Technical managers David Graham and Jim Ripple. Technical directors Jeff Ringel and Angelo DeTroia. And we appreciate the efforts of all of those fine people and the rest of our outstanding crew. Dwayne Ward in to get some work in what is obviously not a save situation at the bottom of the 9th, with the Blue Jays leading by 8. Milt Thompson came in as part of a double switch, and an infield hit and a run scored in the 7th inning. And is only at bat tonight. Ward led the American League with 45 saves this year. Became the first Blue Jay to lead the league in saves. And he was an all-star for the first time this year. He's ahead of Thompson, 1 and 2. Lenny Dykstra is on deck, and then Mariano Duncan. To right and well hit. Carter sprinting back and looking up. Home run, Milt Thompson. A line drive homer over the 371 mark, and a rude greeting for Dwayne Ward. It's 10-3.
This ball hit like a bullet out of here. Sometimes you have a short reliever come in for a tune-up, and if he gives up a couple of runs, you don't know whether from a mental standpoint he is better going back out there the second night in a row. Remarkably, Dwayne Ward has appeared in 6 postseason games, and all of the leadoff men have gotten on in all 6 games. And Milt Thompson not only gets on, he gets across.
Dykstra out. on the well-hit ball to Alomar. Well, of course, Phillies fans saying, what's so remarkable about that? Mitch Williams does that every time, too. Put the lead man on.
Yeah, right. You expect it out of Mitch. Part of his repertoire, but not out of Dwayne Ward.
1 out in the ninth, 10-3 in favor of Toronto. Duncan, another good night. 2 for 4, 2 singles, an RBI. Knocked the mid off the hand of Borders with that foul ball. Duncan has 6 hits in the 3 games. He's 6 for 13.
That is also the 3rd home run given up by Dwayne Ward in his 6 postseason appearances.
Oh, 0-2. Duncan took a nasty slider. Kruk is on deck. And the Blue Jays are 1 out away from victory in game 3. As Duncan goes down swinging for the 2nd out of the 9th.
I guess it's a tale of 2 sides of the plate. The left-handers with all the success against Ward. Right-handed batters in postseason play. Of the 8 that have faced him, he has struck out 7.
John Kruk has had a perfect night. 2 for 2, single and a double. He's walked his last 2 plate appearances.
You know, those numbers we just rattled off about the lack of success against left-handers and the great success against right-handers obviously is not going to come into play here in this blowout, but it could tomorrow night and Thursday night.
Waving swing. There have been 36 runs scored in the first 3 games of this series. We thought it would be high scoring with these 2 productive teams. That's the highest combined run total in the first 3 games of the World Series since 1960. When the Yankees and Pirates combined for 39 runs in the first 3 games of the 60 series.
In the 3 wins that year, the Yankees scored 38 runs. They out-hit the Pirates 55-27.
But there are no carryovers.
No.
In baseball.
That's why Phillies fans have a lot to look forward to. I mean, so tonight was a blowout, but the Atlanta Braves blew them out of 2 games. Both games that they lost to Atlanta were both blowouts.
As Jim Leland said to us last year, momentum is only as good as your next day's starting pitcher. And the starting pitchers tomorrow will be Tommy Green for Philadelphia and Todd Stottlemyre for Toronto.
Tommy Green, by the way, has lost 1 time at Veterans Stadium this year, and that was that blowout. First game Atlanta won, game 2 of the NLCS.
Backdoor breaking ball missed. 2-2 on Kruk. And he fought it off. The Phillies cling to life here in game 3. Kruk continues to foul off pitches. Should he keep the Phillies alive, Dave Hollins would have another chance to bat. And that ends the ball game. Wayne Ward strikes out Kruk, and game 3 of the World Series goes to Toronto by a count of 10-3. We'll have more from Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia right after this.
This is the equivalent of 1 Canadian winter. Most antifreeze protects through 2 winters. But now, there's a formula that lasts an additional 3 winters, for a total of 5 years of protection. MotoMaster Formula 2000 Antifreeze, only at Canadian Tire. It offers 5 years of protection at a great Canadian Tire price. And might be the last antifreeze you ever buy for your car. MotoMaster, quality automotive products for a lot less.
Look, a rainbow!
Over there. Oh, there. Don't you see it? I can, through my Panasonic Palm Quarter color viewfinder.
Where? I hardly noticed it through my black and white viewfinder, but I'm sure I got it on tape.
Great, let's go see. Your camcorder tapes playing a VHS recorder?
No.
Oh, well, my palm quarter tapes will.
Oh.
So why didn't you just get a palm quarter?
I don't know.
The choice is obvious. The Panasonic Palm Quarter. Its tapes will play in your VCR.
The SO Tiger team talks the details.
I think it's the little extra details that separate us from the other gas stations.
It's the small things like talking to the customer, using their name if you can.
Make sure you always have good eye contact.
One of the things that they teach us to do is if you're checking the oil, when you close the hood, then just take a clean towel and just wipe it off.
The service is number one, and then the details just top it off.
It's the little things that make us special.
You're on your way with SO.
This is your standard living room. Seating for 8 with all the comforts of home. Our living room also has seating for 8 with all the comforts of home. The only difference is, ours comes with a 4.3-liter V6 engine, standard 4-wheel anti-lock brakes, a driver's side facial airbag, and the most towing capacity in its class. Introducing the 1994 GMC Safari.
Labatt presents the World Series on CTV. Sponsored by Labatt Blue. Honest and true, you bet it's blue. Imperial Oil and Esso Associates. You're on your way with Esso. Your local bottler of Coca-Cola. Always the real thing. Always Coca-Cola.
Minutes, the shortest game in the series today. Toronto wins game 3, 10-3. The Chevrolet player of the game is Paul Molitor of the Toronto Blue Jays. He was 3 for 4 on base 4 times. He scored 3 and drove in 3. Among his hits, a triple and a solo home run. Chevrolet will donate $1,000 in the name of Paul Molitor to the Special Olympics. And now let's join Jim Gray.
All right, Sean, Paul, what are you more proud of? The 3 hits you had, the home run, the triple and the single, or the double play you turned?
Well, I'm not sure if it was a double play, but somehow I survived the defensive aspect of the game. It was a strange feeling after not being out there for a while, but thankfully, when I did make a couple mistakes, Pat picked me up on the mound, and the big thing is we got off to a good start offensively. Pat pitched well and regained the 1-game advantage, so it's nice to rebound the way we did.
It's going to sound like a strange question, but are you going to play tomorrow?
You know, right now I don't think that I will be playing, unfortunately. I'd love to be back in there and get a chance to be a part of hopefully going up 3-1 tomorrow night. But if Cito's comments before the game indicate anything, and that's he's going to go with Eddie at third and John at first tomorrow.
I'd bench you too. Let's go back upstairs to Sean and Timmy.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Jim, and congratulations to Paul Molitor. Once again, the final score of game 3, 10-3 Toronto. Back in a moment.
The philosophy I took the field with every day was play. I was born to play. I don't think I ever looked at it as a job. I'm here because baseball was a passion to me, and I think that's really what it has to be. I've been a member of the Hall of Fame since 1983, and American Express card member since 1986. It's been around for a long time, and I know that it's going to work.
American Express is welcomed in Cooperstown and a lot of other big league towns.
This is a Sony Trinitron commercial. Sony Trinitron, designed to last.
Discover the SO Tiger. Spirit of service.
Letterman comes your way following your late local news. Dave's guests tonight are David Steinberg and Emmylou Harris. Now for Tim McCarver, Pat O'Brien and Jim Gray. I'm Sean McDonough saying so long from Veterans Stadium. The final score, Toronto 10 and Philadelphia 3. You have been watching CBS Sports coverage of the 1993 World Series. Good night from Philadelphia.